Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Annetta Felix. The Nigerian Senate has confirmed the appointment of Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN. Before his confirmation, Mohammed was screened by the entire Senate committee during plenary on Wednesday. He was screened on several subjects relating to the independence of the judiciary, corruption in the judiciary, and respect for court rulings, among others. Take a listen.
Given the fact that most of the appeals that come from the Court of Appeal across the entire country, the Supreme Court is just one. In the Court of Appeal, you have a lot of divisions across the entire country. All of the appeals emanating from these divisions come directly to the Supreme Court. So you have loads of work, and you are just 21, as you say. Will you accept that more justices of the Supreme Court be appointed if you have the necessary infrastructure to accommodate them?
All over the civilized world, the need for financial independence of the judiciary is critical if we are talking about the independence of the judiciary. This has to be balanced, however, with also the need for integrity, including in the area of fiscal, and I mean financial prudence on the part of the judiciary. I therefore, my Lord, would like you to address the Senate and Nigerians on the issue of financial autonomy of the judiciary.
Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the request of Mr. President CNC for the confirmation of a nominee for appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria. The nominee answered questions from distinguished senators on judicial matters and a number of topical issues. Thereafter, the committee approved the nomination of Honorable Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, CFR, as Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed for appointment as the Chief Justice of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, is urging President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a state of emergency on security in order to address insecurity situation across Nigeria. National Chairman of the PDP, Uche Secondus, made the appeal while reacting to the open letter of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Secondus said the advice was necessary looking at the increasing cases of killings and kidnappings across Nigeria. The PDP head stressed that the worsening security situation between April and now had made concerned patriotic leaders voice out their concerns. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, in his open letter, had advised Buhari to do more to address the security situation in the country. A group of protesters have marched to the Federal Ministry of Justice in Abuja to demand a solution to the rising spate of killings and kidnappings in Nigeria. This comes after daughter of Afenifere leader Funke Olatunrin was killed by gunmen in the Ondore Road last Friday. Under the aegis of Nigeria ethnic groups, the protesters are asking the government to not just talk about the problem, but to also take actions and achieve measurable results. The group is also joining the rest of the world to mark the International Day of Justice as they call for peace and security in Nigeria.
The concerns over ethnic profiling of herdsmen who are ravaging our land, their profiling as Fulani herdsmen, were made worse by the refusal of Mr. President to show the kind of leadership some past leaders demonstrated while in office. What shall we then do? Shall we abide under oppression so that Nigeria's unity is not negotiated? Woe betides a nation where truth is forsaken.
Sleeping in your house is suicidal. People are killed, babies are ripped out of the stomachs of their mothers, people are slaughtered, and nothing is being done about it. we in the Middle Belt have spoken out at the cost of our own freedom. We still have Stephen Kefas in prison today because he spoke out against these killings. We have many of our elders taken just for speaking out. And then we hear that our leaders are having meetings with these people, with bandits, headsmen, to proffer solutions, as they say. At what cost? At the cost of our lives? If we're talking about the unity of Nigeria, everyone should matter on this table. When we come to the table, every single Nigerian life should matter, but we do not feel like that. People are dying and we are giving it different names. If it is not headsmen today, tomorrow it is bandits. But the truth about it is people are dying. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a war situation. If you have a country where more than 5 states, 6 states are attacked daily and people are killed, you cannot deny it. You cannot give it different names so that you will hide it under, oh, this is bandits here, it's just this here and that. No, Nigerians are being wiped out. Indigenous Nigerians are being wiped out.
Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has ordered the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the Zamfara State Resident Electoral Commissioner to appear before it on Thursday. The court gave the order on Wednesday following a complaint by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, that the subpoena served on both INEC officials since July 12th and 15th have not been complied with. According to the tribunal, INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu is to appear before 12 noon on Thursday or risk a court action against him. The court also ruled that the resident electoral commissioner in Zamfara State should appear with Yakubu at whatever cost. The PDP is accusing INEC of conniving with the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, to influence the results of the February presidential election. It's quite a task to assess information from government ministries and agencies, but Civil Rights Group, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, is hoping to change this narrative. The group on Wednesday organized a press briefing to educate Nigerians on their rights to information. They say adequate knowledge on the Freedom of Information Act, FOI, will help promote transparency and accountability in government.
It behooves society to equip me with knowledge that when I'm pregnant and I am spotting blood, I should speak to somebody. I should know that something is amiss. So everybody has a right to education, whether formal, whether informal. Education is not a privilege.
The education sector is not different from all sectors. I think using the Freedom of Information Act will ensure that information records are provided to citizens to demand for accountability.
All of us in our different neighborhoods, we see the dilapidated schools, and we all have one issue or another we experience directly or vicariously about the falling standard of education. So how do you advocate at government? How do you ask questions if you don't have information? So what the FOI Act will do is it gives you the legal backing to ask for information, to get it, and then make request of those in power.
President Muhammadu Buhari has asked state and local governments to play stronger roles in complementing the efforts of the federal government, especially in getting Almajiri children into classrooms. In a statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari said the issues of health and education are constitutional. He further stated that if there are too many Almajiris in the state, then the government is not following the constitution. Almajiri children make a large chunk of Nigeria's 13.2 million out-of-school children. A group known as Network for Humanity says the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, did not properly handle the rape allegation brought against one of its members, Biodun Fatoyibo, of the Commonwealth of Zion Assembly, COZA. Convener of the group, Progress Okuk, at a press briefing in Abuja, says the pledge of support enjoyed by the alleged rapist casts doubt over the neutrality of CAN in the incident. The group have now staged a peaceful protest to demand improved women's rights in Nigeria.
We condemn absolutely the disgraceful aggrandizement of CAN leadership in COZA on Sunday, 14th of July 2019. We state clearly that the two CAN officials who went to pledge support for COZA in a case of rape allegations do not represent us. and the entire Christendom. Our Lord Jesus Christ is the Lord of righteousness. He would never embolden the strong against the weak. Therefore, Khan has spoken in admiration to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Their speaking do not represent us, neither do they represent our consciences. Leadership is a responsibility, but Khan have acted irresponsibly by not denouncing the action of the two Khan officials who have gone to Koza to pledge support for an alleged rapist 48 hours after. The allegations against Jordan Patribo brothers on rape, which is a crime, the least Khan or any Christian authority should do is to ask the man to exonerate himself before a court of competent jurisdiction, instead of embarking on a disgraceful journey of emotional blackmail and vilification of victims while applauding the alleged aggressor. Who does that? This is unacceptable. We reject such wicked biases and bullying of victims by Khan.
The Confucius Institute of the University of Lagos has awarded 24 Nigerian students scholarships to study in various tertiary institutions in China. The institute announced this at its graduation ceremony and second job fair in Lagos. A total of 40 members of the Nigerian Immigration Service, who were among the 552 students, were awarded certificates for proficiency in Chinese language. Adeshawa Odushaga has more.
It was indeed an exciting atmosphere for these Nigerian graduates at the Confucius Institute in the University of Lagos. After weeks of intense training, the students are happy to show off their knowledge of Chinese art and culture. One after another, they thrill the audience with dance, music and speech presentations in Chinese language. Over 500 students are graduating, but only the best students have been awarded scholarships to further studies in China. Grace is one of the 24 lucky recipients of the award, as she is overwhelmed with delight at the opportunity.
I'm excited, very, very excited, because to be here today is not really easy. Like, you have a lot of things to pass. But thank God at the end, I made it.
Every day we encounter foreigners, especially Chinese. As of yesterday, I was still dealing with some. And with the help of this language, I was able to communicate. Because these are Chinese that couldn't even utter a word in English language. And thank God, I was able to do something. I was able to communicate with them, and we had a wonderful time. So, I mean, to be a better professional, to be a better person, and don't forget, over 1 billion people speak Chinese language. Then if you want to be a citizen of the world, it's a language that you must go for.
I feel delightful today, very delightful as a student. So many intermingle with Chinese people, the student, and among the students we have so many people from various commands. We came and met together here to share the same experience.
Among the graduates are members of the Nigerian Immigration Service who were enrolled in the institute as part of the bilateral agreement between the two countries.
Our students are from different fields of Nigerian society, and the People's Republic of China, the consulate of People's Republic of China in Lagos, they just asked us to help their immigration officials in Lagos. They are partners in Nigeria, to help them to study Chinese, and we feel just it's an honor and a much pleased to help the Nigerian immigration officials to study in our institute in Chinese language and in Chinese culture, because the exchanges between the two countries are becoming more and more frequent, and especially after the China-Africa Cooperation Forum in Beijing, and also because of the One World, One Road initiative. A lot of Chinese enterprises are coming, and there are more exchanges happening in this city or in this country. So if they can speak Chinese or if they understand Chinese culture, it's a big help for the Chinese enterprises to come to work in this place.
It's the second job fair at the institute, and recruiters from top Chinese companies were also on ground to scout for talent among the graduates.
These students learn some Chinese cultures. I think these students are the connections between the China and the Nigeria. So we want to employ some of the good students here and doing the business together between China and Nigeria.
The Chinese Confucius Institute is located in 2 federal universities in Nigeria. The first is University of Lagos and the second in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Anambra, Southeast Nigeria. The institute helps international students learn about the Chinese language and support cultural exchanges. Adeshawa Dushoga, TV360 Lagos, Nigeria.
We'll take a break here and we'll be right back. Do stay with us.
The crash nurseries and the crash school life from possessing the problem of
that the election has been postponed and Nigerians have reacted to that.
Local area of Lagos as early as 7
some minutes past the incident has been managed and also
This morning we have
You're welcome back. It's still news now on TV360 Nigeria. And with us to talk business is Fidelia Aguncha. Hello, Fidelia.
Hi, Aneta.
Please bring us up to speed with the latest in business today.
Well, President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged to address the growing rate of unemployment by improving business environment in Nigeria. The president said this while hosting members of the Employee Consultative Forum at the State House in Abuja. Buhari said the ugly trend of exporting jobs at the expense of Nigerian workers will no longer be allowed. On his part, the forum praised the president for passing some bills to improve businesses in the country. They, however, urged the president to address major challenges in the sector.
All it takes locally to meet our most basic needs. Our history of unnecessary importation of the most basic items meant we were exporting jobs to other countries at the expense of our own citizens. This administration is determined and taking steps to bring these jobs back to Nigeria. Our policies are simply designed for that. There is no doubt the implementation of such policies will not be hitch-free. As you have pointed out, there are challenges in some areas that we need to be addressed. I want to assure you that we are looking into these and other matters to ensure we have a sustainable platform for business to succeed.
We have 2 suggestions for Excellency's consideration to resolve these issues on an ongoing basis. First, would like to request Your Excellency to direct that federal ministries that will come on board and chief executives of departments and agencies of government must be accessible to the organized private sector. This way, we will not have to revert to the presidency on every issue. Secondly, we would appreciate the institutionalization of a clearing desk in the presidency, probably in the office of the vice president, for the escalation of our concerns in case of arising conflict, which is not unlikely from time to time.
This will eliminate the resort to seeking redress in the courts and possible slowdown of government activities due to litigation.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the immediate implementation of the new national wage for federal public service workers currently earning below 30,000 naira. Chairman, National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission, Richard Egbule, announced this on Wednesday. He says the commencement of the approved payment will be determined by the Office of the Accountant General. According to Egbule, the approval takes effect from April 18, 2018 and will affect the salary of government agencies under 5 salary structures. President of Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative, Benga Olowo, is urging the federal government to do more to attract investments in Nigeria's aviation sector. Olowo made the demand while speaking at the annual conference of the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents in Lagos. He stressed that Nigeria needs to implement policies to enhance the image of the country and its economy.
Government must design objectives and key performing indexes that are measurable. Nigerians must rise up to begin to measure leadership. And this is my kind of recommendation: policy, trust, and measurement. And all these policy, trust, and measurement are directed in these 9 areas: safety management, airport management, aircraft management. Let me talk about airport management. If there had been KPIs and necessary dashboard for managers of the airport, must we have the emergency we had in Abuja that we had to shut down for 6 months? It's because there are no indexes and we don't measure our civil servants. The guidelines are there, the standard operating practices are there, but we don't measure them. Key performance indexes and dashboard imperatives to achieve a particular objective. That has been our bane in this nation. So these 9 areas are key. We must have KPIs for them and dashboard for whoever is on top of a seat.
Well, up next is a review of activities on the stock market after this. Well, for the 5th time in a row, the Nigeria Stock Exchange is closing in the negative territory, with each new day worse than the previous. Today, the market dropped by 0.56%, which is a difference of 0.07% when compared to how it fared on Tuesday. Now, since the downtrend began, the all-share index has declined by over 1,200 basis points, while the market capitalization has shed about 590 billion naira. Now, declines in the shares of bellwether stocks played a key role in the market performance. Equities from the Consumer Goods Index are dominating the losers chart, and Nestle leads the pack with a 5 naira drop in its share price. Julius Berger is the second biggest faller, shrinking by 1 naira and 95 kobo. Third and fourth on the list is Guinness Nigeria and Unilever, with a combined 2 naira 5 kobo drop in their value. While on the flip side, that's the gainers chart. UACN leads the gainers chart with a 1 kobo rise in its share price. AGL Event is also on the chart, as well as Chams and Cotville also posted gains. Well, that brings us to the market summary right here. The value and volume of shares traded today is a huge improvement when compared to what was posted on Tuesday. While the value of shares traded surged by more than 1 billion naira, the volume increased by over 30 million units. Well, there were, however, fewer deals seen in the market, as today's total deal is coming in at 3,449. Well, let's now move to the foreign scene. We can see that it's all red for the FTSE, Nikkei and Dow Jones, as they all closed in the negative territory, just like the NSE, dropping by 0.55%, 0.18% and 0.31% respectively. Well, that is from the world of business. It's back to Annetta for the rest of the news.
Many thanks for that update, Fidelia. Moving on, a drug lord, Joaquin El Chapo, has been sentenced to life in prison with 30 years extra. The U.S. court sentenced him on Wednesday, ordering the former mob boss to pay back 12.6 billion naira of the proceeds of his crime. He was earlier convicted in February of crimes spanning a quarter century, including trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine, heroin, and several other drugs into the United States. El Chapo was once the world's most notorious drug lord with a net worth of about $14 billion. Nigeria is set to face Tunisia in the African Cup of Nations third-place playoff later today. Both teams will be hoping to bounce back from their disappointing semi-final outings, which saw Senegal and Algeria advance to the final. Super Eagles fell to the Desert Foxes of Algeria on Sunday in a 2-1 defeat following a stoppage-time goal from Riyad Mahrez. Tunisia also suffered the same fate with Senegal after an own goal in extra time. Kickoff for the match is 8 p.m. local time. Many thanks for staying tuned on News Now. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.